Hello, English learners. Welcome back to English Stories Cube, the place where real stories help you learn real English. Today, we will learn English through the life of a man who changed the world. Not with a sword, not with an army, but with questions. He asked, "Why are some people rich and others poor? Why do workers work so hard but still have so little? Is the world fair? And if not, how do we fix it?" His questions made kings and governments very, very nervous. His ideas started revolutions in countries all over the world. Even today, more than 140 years after his death, people still argue about him. This man's name was Karl Marx. Before you start reading, here is a question to think about. If you worked very hard every day, but your boss kept most of the money, would that be fair? Karl Marx thought about this question his whole life. Let's find out what he discovered. So let's start. Chapter 1. A Curious Boy in Germany. Karl Marx was born on May 5, 1818, in a small city called Trier in Germany. His family was Jewish, but his father later became a Christian. His father, Heinrich Marx, was a lawyer. He was a smart and educated man. Karl was one of 9 children. From a very young age, Karl loved to read and ask questions. He was always curious. He wanted to understand the world around him, why some people were rich, why some people were poor, and why life was not fair for everyone. When Karl was 17 years old, he went to the University of Bonn to study law. Later, he moved to the University of Berlin. In Berlin, he did not just study law. He started reading philosophy, ideas about life, freedom, and society. He became very interested in the ideas of a philosopher named Hegel. Karl was a brilliant student. He finished his university education and got his doctorate, a very high university degree, in 1841. He was only 23 years old. Chapter 2. The Young Journalist. After university, Karl Marx wanted to become a professor, a teacher at a university. But the government did not like his ideas. They thought he was dangerous. So he became a journalist instead. In 1842, he started working for a newspaper called the Rheinische Zeitung. He wrote articles about politics and freedom. He criticized the government and said that ordinary people deserved more rights. The government was not happy. They closed his newspaper in 1843. Karl had to leave Germany. That same year, Karl married Jenny von Westphalen. Jenny came from a wealthy family, but she loved Karl deeply and supported all his ideas. They would stay together for the rest of their lives. They had 7 children together, though sadly only 3 survived to adulthood. Karl and Jenny moved to Paris, France. Paris was an exciting city full of thinkers, writers, and revolutionaries, people who wanted to change the world. In Paris, Karl met Friedrich Engels. This meeting would change history. Chapter 3. A Great Friendship, Marx and Engels. Friedrich Engels was a German businessman. His family owned a factory in England. But Engels was not a typical businessman. He hated how workers were treated. He saw workers living in terrible conditions, poor houses, long working hours, low pay. When Marx and Engels met in Paris in 1844, they talked for hours and hours. They agreed on almost everything. They both believed that the world was divided into 2 groups: the rich owners, who they called the bourgeoisie, and the poor workers, who they called the proletariat. They believed the rich owners took too much and gave too little. Workers did all the hard work but received almost nothing. This was not just unfair, they said it was exploitation. Marx and Engels became best friends and writing partners. Engels also helped Marx with money for many years because Marx was often very poor. Chapter 4. The Communist Manifesto, a powerful document. In 1848, Marx and Engels wrote one of the most famous documents in history, the Communist Manifesto. It was a short book, only about 23 pages, but it was powerful and passionate. The Communist Manifesto started with a famous line, "A specter is haunting Europe, the specter of communism." This means a scary new idea is coming, and powerful people are afraid of it. In this document, Marx and Engels explained their ideas clearly. They said that all of history is a story of class struggle, rich people fighting against poor people. They called on workers all over the world to rise up together and fight for their rights. The book ended with another famous line, "Workers of the world, unite. You have nothing to lose but your chains." These words were electric. Workers and poor people loved them. Governments and rich people feared them. The Communist Manifesto was banned in many countries. Chapter 5. Hard Times in London. Europe in 1848 was full of revolutions. People were fighting for change in France, Germany, Austria, and many other countries. Karl Marx was involved in these movements and was expelled, forced to leave from several countries. In 1849, Marx and his family moved to London, England. He would live there for the rest of his life. London was the biggest city in the world at that time. It was also the center of the Industrial Revolution, factories, machines, and millions of workers. Life in London was very hard for the Marx family. They were extremely poor. They lived in small, dirty rooms. 3 of Karl and Jenny's children died from illness because they could not afford good food or medicine. These were heartbreaking years. But Karl Marx never stopped working. He spent long hours every day in the British Museum Library, reading and writing. He wanted to understand capitalism, the economic system where rich people own businesses and workers sell their labor for wages. Chapter 6. Das Kapital, his greatest work. After many years of research and writing, Karl Marx published his greatest work in 1867. It was called Das Kapital, which means capital in German. This was a very long and detailed book about how capitalism works. In Das Kapital, Marx explained many important ideas. One key idea was surplus value. He said, when a worker makes a product, the product is worth more than the worker is paid. The owner takes the extra value, the surplus. This is how owners become rich while workers stay poor. Marx also predicted that capitalism would eventually destroy itself. He said that competition between companies would get worse and worse. Fewer and fewer people would own more and more. Eventually, the workers would have no choice but to rise up and take control. Das Kapital was not easy to read. It was long and complex, but it was deeply respected by thinkers, economists, and political leaders. The first volume was published in 1867. Marx was working on more volumes when he died, and Engels finished them later. Chapter 7. The Final Years. As Marx grew older, his health became very poor. His wife Jenny had been sick for many years. She died in December 1881. Karl was heartbroken. He never truly recovered from losing her. Karl Marx died on March 14, 1883, in London. He was 64 years old. He died sitting quietly in his armchair. He was buried in Highgate Cemetery in London. His grave is still visited by thousands of people every year from all over the world. At his funeral, Friedrich Engels gave a short but beautiful speech. He said that Marx's name and work would live on through the ages. Engels was right. Chapter 8. Marx's legacy. His ideas changed the world. Karl Marx died a poor, largely unknown man. But after his death, his ideas spread across the entire world. In the 20th century, huge revolutions happened in his name. In Russia in 1917, the Communist Revolution created the Soviet Union. In China in 1949, Mao Zedong led a communist revolution. In Cuba, Vietnam, and many other countries, leaders were inspired by Marx's ideas. Today, many countries use some ideas from Marx in their systems, things like workers' rights, minimum wages, free healthcare, and public schools. These ideas feel normal to us now, but Marx helped fight for them. Karl Marx is considered one of the most influential people in all of human history. His ideas about class, workers, capitalism, and equality are still studied and debated in schools and universities everywhere. Whether people agree with him or not, everyone agrees. Karl Marx changed the world. So now you know the story of Karl Marx, a man who changed the world with questions, not weapons. Do you think Marx's ideas are still important today? Why or why not? Write your answer in the comments on YouTube. We read every single one. If this story helped your English, please like and subscribe to English Stories Cube. Press the bell icon so you never miss a new story. See you in the next story. Keep learning. Keep growing. Thank you.